Good day, and welcome to this lesson. We will be discussing the notion of ethics, and what it is all about. So after watching this video, you can proceed, read, browse, or peruse the accompanying Beamer file. Before we are going to proceed with the main topic, let us first read the situationer, to guide us in our discussion. The situationer presented in this lesson is only fictional, and does not refer nor allude to actual situations. You are an inmate in a concentration camp. A sadistic guard is about to hang your son who tried to escape, and wants you to pull the chair from underneath him. He says that if you don't, he will not only kill your son, but some other innocent inmates as well. You don't have any doubt that he means what he says. What should you do? If we are going to pause for a moment and talk about the question raised, one thing is clear, that we will be having opposing views. In these views, we will be justifying our answers, or decisions, as to what to do in this time of dilemma. Some may have answered to kill the son, as payment for his mistakes, or as a form of a sacrificial lamb, or act of heroism, or bravery. Or others may perhaps refuse to pull the chair, and allow the killings to proceed. Or there may be similar options that we can offer. All these options are conflicting, and that we have to resolve the conflicting views. In its essence, this is what ethics is all about. That ethics will give us principles to guide us on what to do. The emphasis on this definition is placed on ethics as a moral system. We have to note here that it is a system, not just a matter of disjoint beliefs on something or law or norms. As a system, it may be grounded on a much bigger cause, as we say it, like customs, practices, religious beliefs, personal convictions, or experiences that formed individuals' personalities, or mode of thinking. These convictions, experiences, or our past, if we include them, formed our decisions on something. And these convictions or beliefs may have been contested or tested in many situations, that we later on think that our decision is right and justifiable. Our actions or decisions have impact in the society that we live. In this time of COVID-19 pandemic, for example, our decisions to be vaccinated has an impact on society. For some, vaccination is a form of protection for our loved ones. Others would say that vaccines protect us from further infections, although we have heard reports that vaccines have some adverse effects. And arguments and discussions would bring us to other spheres in our social life, such as the politicalization of the pandemic, the graft and corruption reports that surrounds the COVID-19 mitigation responses, and many more. So in this instance, we can say that ethics is about man-to-man transactions. If I'll be absent from class, would it have an impact to my parents? To maintain a relationship with the same sex, would it be accepted by my society? These and other similar questions do arise as members of society. Ethics is also about the self. The character, habit, or disposition I chose to develop is of my own making. In choosing to obey my society's standard of goodness, it is my decision. If you choose not to obey, or challenge the status quo, it is your decision. This is what we call as ethics in the personal level, or level of the ego, or level of the self. If I do good to avoid eternal punishment, even I have no proof that such punishment exists, is my own decision. The emphasis of the definition is placed on the context of the self. We are not living alone, hence it is expected of us to have principles on how to live peacefully with others. To do good to others is not enough criterion of having a good life, but most importantly, what makes the act good. The discussion on what makes the act good is within the scope of ethics as a field of discipline. As individuals in society, we should have knowledge on our rights and responsibilities as human beings. We should know how to protect and promote our rights, much more on the exercise of responsibilities. We have to note here that we can do all things, as people would say, but we should not forget that we should be responsible for the outcomes of our acts. We should be accountable for our acts even if we are forced to do it, or these acts are beyond our control. Am I responsible for acts performed out of fear or despair? If I am made to choose between acts which outcomes is not desirable, how will I justify my decisions amidst adversities? Are we doing the right thing? Most oftentimes, we are made to believe that to obey rules in our society is the best thing to do, not reflecting that our total obedience is already beyond tolerable level, or has already produced negative effects to our society. We have read from history that some few nations have experienced civil wars or civil disobedience. Thus, it made us wonder if violence, such as war, is a justifiable means to achieve peace. All religions in this world preached about peace, but these same religions have promoted violence in achieving peace. For instance, we have the Holy War and the war against heretical teachings. As to our language, there are words associated with profanity. We cannot utter them, because these are not good to hear. What make these words profane? All our decisions are covered by principles, which guided us on everything we do. As we have mentioned previously, our decisions are influenced by many reasons or factors. Due to these influences, we do things we believe is good, and we have reasons to believe that these are good. Our concepts of morally, socially, ethically acceptable acts are influenced by numerous social agencies like the church, education, governments, and our social norms, culture, and mores. Our religions formed our concepts of what are good and desirable. The school system may either reinforce these concepts translated into academic policies. Governments promulgated laws to legalize these beliefs, which may be reflections of our social norms, culture that were passed across generations. What is ethics for? Ethics can provide a moral map. Think of abortion and euthanasia. Because these are emotional issues, we tend to dismiss them right away, and not bother of what is the right action to do. However, these are issues that you and I need to ponder, if in the future, we are haunted by them. There are other issues that need our attention as members in society, or as part of humankind. Transgenderism, same-sex marriage, graft and corruption, substance abuse, homosexuality, and many more, are ethical issues, which not only affect society, but have moral implications as well. Maybe not right now, but perhaps in the near future, you will meet some of these pressing issues, that you will come to address. As students, perhaps some of you will run for office in the student government. What is your purpose of running in an office? To serve your fellow students? Can you not serve them in your own capacity? Or there may be some hidden agenda you want to pursue? Your answers to these questions form part of the moral map that you will be building, and later on to follow. Using the framework of ethics, two people who are arguing a moral issue can often find that what they disagree about is just one particular part of the issue and that they broadly agree on everything else. This is the essence of ethics, wherein everybody is given the chance to voice out their opinions about an issue. For instance, issues raised by some camps on the government's management of public health. Netizens posed a question why the ordinary poor citizen, if accused of stealing from the government's coffer, will be incarcerated, while those prominent individuals, who are close to the administrations, and who embezzled funds worth $1 billion pesos, were just made to resign from office. I am sure that you have your own take on this issue. And there are many more to come. Ethics can give several answers. First, many people want that there have to be a single right answer to ethical questions. They find moral ambiguity hard to live with, because they genuinely want to do the right thing, and even if they can't work out what that right thing is, they like the idea that somewhere there is one right answer. Second, but often there is not one right answer, there may be several right answers, or just some least worst answers, and the individual must choose between them. Finally, for others moral ambiguity is difficult, because it forces them to take responsibility for their own choices and actions, rather than falling back on convenient rules and customs. In this topic, we found out that a form of ethical framework, or ethical thinking, is needed as members of society. We pointed out that there is no one way of doing what is right, for there are many framework or perspectives of doing the right thing. These differentials of perspectives are brought by many factors or causes, in such way that it produces multiplicity of perspectives. For instance, in some countries, abortion is legal, and the decision for its legalization is based on a framework. Others consider abortion as a crime. Whatever a country's decision on certain matters, their moral principles or ethical standards lead them to a way for a better society. This is where the influence of ethical thinking comes in. Ethical thinking can pinpoint distinctions of perspectives, and it is in this manner that options for actions are being weighed. Finally, ethics will not give one answer to an ethical issue. It offers many options and views. It points out the flaws and advantage of a principle, and is left to the individual on what to take. It merely suggests, but not prescribes. It opens up discussions, but does not condemn. It questions status quo, but does not prohibit anyone from continuously embracing such. 1. Resolutions of ethical or moral issues require diligent effort. Two. Resolutions of ethical issues require cooperation from all sectors in society. 3. In resolving ethical issues, we need a moral or ethical framework on where, how, and what to base our decisions.